It's been a while since I last reviewed a product from Treblab, and I have them to thank actually for this review unit here. Mostly because I actually really like it, a lot more than I thought that I would, and I think that this pair is a gold standard for relatively budget headphones and what they should offer. Introducing the Treblab Z7 Pro. How does it fare for listening to music as well as gaming? Well, let's go ahead and dive right in. For more content, do make sure to subscribe to this channel because we upload fairly often and focus on all sorts of tech products. So do make sure to leave us a like and comment any of your thoughts down below while you're at it. It really helps us with the algorithm. And if you want to support us further, then we've actually got a Patreon open which offers early access to content and special insight to projects that I'm always working on in case that is something that interests you. So links to everything down below. The exterior design consists of plastic for the majority of the build, but these headphones feel very nice. They look great, in my opinion, thanks to the new modernized look of their lineup and the choice in materials. For example, we now have a touch-sensitive pad on the right and left ear cups that feel very soft and nice to use. But we are going to talk about how these gestures are executed just a little bit later. The headband is nicely padded for my taste, and it does extend pretty far to accommodate most people, I would say. These feel pretty premium to me, and I was actually surprised by the build and the overall quality of this product. In terms of comfort, I actually really enjoy these, but it is going to be highly subjective, especially when it comes to this pair in particular. This is because while most people will likely enjoy the amount of padding on both the ear cuffs and the headband, the clamping force on these is actually pretty tight in comparison to other offerings. I actually like that personally, but I can very much understand how some might really dislike that aspect about these headphones on the other hand. Now the padding feels very silky and soft, which is also more of a preferential thing, as some prefer less padding and maybe just a little bit more texture to the ear cuffs. Again, this is actually highly subjective, but if you feel like this could still be a comfortable pair for you based on what I mentioned, then by all means, I do think that this pair is going to be one that you will like quite a bit. So when it comes to gestures, I think that they did a fantastic job here. We do get touch gestures that are applied in a way that I would consider to be ideal. Swipe up and down for volume up and down, tap once for playing and pausing, tap twice for skipping tracks, and tap 3 times for backtracking. Everything that I need is here, which I take advantage of pretty much every single time that I use these. For ANC, there is going to be an ANC button on these alongside the Bluetooth button, power button, headphone jack, and there is going to be a USB-C port for charging on the other side. These headphones handle gestures better than many other pairs of headphones at around this price range actually, even offerings from let's say Razer and Raycon, and many more around this price. I really like the gestures here and how they're handled, and I think that most of you will as well, since everything is just very straightforward in my opinion. But let's get into the most important stuff, and that's going to be the music test. I tested these headphones with a variety of different genres to see how good the performance would be and how they've been tuned for a more niche crowd, as well as a more mainstream crowd. So the first thing that stood out to me was actually the lack of audio separation or the more narrow soundstage, which did surprise me as it felt rather narrow for even an over-ear pair of headphones. So that's one thing to keep in mind. This meant that a lot of genres were not really enjoyed to their fullest with these, but that is mostly nitpicking as well. But this nitpicking is still very important for people who do need details on certain genres. I mean, some of us just like to listen to the same over and over, so this makes total sense. And if you're mostly listening to metal, then this pair isn't really going to be the best option for you because the instruments can get a bit muddy, but one thing that does help here is going to be that the bass isn't really so boosted on this unit, meaning that you can get a more pleasant sound for the most part that does get held back by the soundstage itself as being one of those factors. This is not my first choice for metal, and that includes all subgenres that I listen to, like death metal, black metal, deathcore, symphonic, melodic, etc. But if you listen to almost any other genre of music, quite frankly, you're probably going to enjoy these quite a bit. And oh my gosh, it's so windy. So yeah, hip-hop, pop, simple rock, electronic, and more will sound pretty good through these headphones, and genuinely speaking, I tend to have a very pleasant listening experience, even though I do have to accept that metal won't really sound its best here, but it is pretty difficult in general to find a good pair of wireless headphones for metal anyway, so there is that. Overall, the sound is pretty good. So I mentioned gaming as being one of those things that I will be testing here, and this is actually because I noticed that these have a pretty good microphone built in that actually sounds usable for recordings and things like that. This will allow for communications between you and your teammates to go very smoothly, and I say that as this would certainly be used as a more casual pair. So when it comes to the gaming aspect, however, I would probably keep the ANC portion on for these, since the sound will be richer in my opinion, and will at least enhance the gaming experience by keeping all other sounds out and helping you just focus on the game itself. But honestly, I was very impressed with the microphones on this, and I think that a lot of mobile gamers will definitely appreciate it. Now let's talk about ANC, which I did just bring up in the previous section. ANC is very good here. You will get a mild cabin pressure effect, but it's not very distracting or uncomfortable, at least not to me. It actually does a very good job at canceling out noise, and it is pretty subtle too, so you won't really get a very different sound when turning this on, but the sound will still be affected in a positive way for the most part. I would say that ANC was done right, especially because of how well it can block out the sound of others speaking near me or crowds or even the MTA train, but I drive now, so I don't really have to deal with that all that often. So the battery life on these is very good too. You can expect these to easily last you all day. I don't really have exact measurements, but I have been able to keep these on all day with ANC active, so I am pretty happy with the battery life here. So that's pretty much it. We are looking at a great pair of headphones from Treblab that I sure was not expecting, but ended up being very good, or very happy with, I should say. However, at the price of $159 at MSRP, these certainly are not cheap. Still technically budget, but not cheap. They've got a lot of competition along this price range, but I would say that Treblab offers a very good experience for the money, and is definitely worth considering on your next purchase. So yeah, strongly recommended. So thank you so much for watching today's video. That is always appreciated. Thanks for making it all the way to the end. If you would like to get these headphones, there are going to be links to Amazon, affiliate links, of course, to Amazon down below. If you end up using that, you would be helping out the channel quite a bit, so I would appreciate that quite a bit. There's also going to be an ABUNDA link in case you would rather just do like simple financing, like going every 2 weeks and then making a payment instead, just to take things a little bit more easily. So yeah, there's also that option, which is also affiliated, so I would appreciate that. Now, I'd love to give a very special thanks to all of our patrons, especially the tier 3s, which are going to be Omar, Sahara Wazel, and Aaliyah. Thank you so much for all of your support, because it really does go a long way. Now, on to the rest of the patrons, which you should be seeing on screen right now. I should have showed them off pretty much earlier on. But with that said, don't forget to follow me on Twitch and on Instagram, on Twitch, I do stream fairly often, so you can catch me there. Ask me questions live. Now, until next time, this has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching, and enjoy.